Hello students. Today we are going to do a very important topic of English grammar, that is subject-verb agreement. I'm sure you have done subject-verb agreement in school. Today we are going to discuss it in detail. We are going to discuss some questions based on it, and we are going to discuss the rules based on subject-verb agreement. Before we start with the class, I want to tell you the objective of this session. After completion of this session, you will be able to explain the rules of subject-verb agreement. You will be able to identify and correct errors in subject and verb agreement. You will always be able to practice the same in the conversation. Now, before we move on to the concept, let us understand what subject-verb agreement is. Subject and verb agreement refers to the fact that the subject and verb in a sentence must agree in number. In other words, they both must be singular or they both must be plural. Let's take the example. He gave his teacher an apple. He gave his teacher an apple. Here, he is the subject, gave is the verb, his teacher is indirect object and apple is direct object. Now, let's go in a little detail. In sentences, the subject and verb have to agree in number. Well, you must be thinking, what does that mean? Let's make it simple. Let's break it down. Let's talk about each part separately before we move on to the rules. So subject and verb agreement comprises of subject, verb, numbers, and agreement. So let's talk about subject first. Subject. Who is the subject in any sentence? Now, I hope the subject point is clear to you. Let's move on to the second part, that is verb. The verb is an action or state of being. The verb is an action or state of being. Here we have action verbs and helping verbs. Action verbs are the easiest to find. They're always easiest to find because they are the verb of doing. Action verbs are the verbs of doing. The girl ate a hot dog. Who ate a hot dog? Girl. And what she did? She ate a hot dog. So this is the doing here is ate. So the girl ate a hot dog. Ate is a verb. My sister dances for hours. My sister dances for hours. So dances here is a verb. Now, a state of being verb shows that something exists. So when you say you are my friend, my sister was tired, establishing relations. So these are helping verbs. Now what is agreement and number? When things agree, they are same. Number just means singular or plural. So in order for your subject and verb to agree in number, they must both be singular or both be plural. They have to be either singular or plural. Now, I hope the concept of subject, verb, number and agreement is clear to you by now. So we say subject, verb has to agree in number. So we have discussed in detail what is subject, what is verb, what is number and what is the agreement of subject and verb with respect to number. Let us talk about the rules of subject-verb agreement. The pronoun you always takes a plural verb. You is a word that takes a plural verb. For example, you were invited, you are asked to clean, you sing so well. So you will always take a plural verb. Now rule number 2, the number of the subjects, whether it's singular or plural, is not changed by the words that come between the subject and the verb. Example, one of the egg is broken. When I say one of the egg is broken, of the egg is a prepositional phrase here. Subject is one and is the verb. So this prepositional phrase will not change the number of subject or the verb. The subject form and verb are both singular. You can mentally omit the prepositional phrase to make the agreement easier. Rule 3. Some subjects always take a singular verb, even though the meaning may seem plural. These subjects, they always take singular verbs. The example of these subjects are each one, everybody, someone, somebody, nobody, either, no one, anyone, anybody, neither, nobody, everyone. These subjects always take a singular verb. They may seem plural to you, but they always take a singular verb. Let's take the example. Someone in the game was hurt. Here, someone is considered as a singular verb, subject. So it took a verb that is singular. That means was, not were. Another example, neither of the men is working, not are working. Rule number 4. Rule number 4 says the following words may be singular or plural depending upon their use in the sentence. And the examples are some, any, all, most. For example, most of the news is good. Whereas most of the flowers were yellow. Here it's plural. All of the pizza was gone. All of the children were late. So that totally depends upon their use in the sentence, which we can clearly see from the given example. Rule number 5. Subjects joined by and are plural. I repeat, subjects joined by and are plural. Whereas the subjects joined by or nor take a verb that agrees with the last subject. Subjects joined by or nor take a verb that agrees with the last subject. For example, when we say Bob and George are leaving, here both the subjects Bob and George are combined by and. So it will take a plural verb. Whereas neither Bob nor George is leaving. Here, because the subjects are joined by nor, the rule applicable is the subject verb will be as per the last subject. The last subject here is George, and George is singular. So we'll go by singular verb is. Whereas in the other statement, neither Bob nor his friends are leaving. So friend is a plural verb. So we'll take a plural verb. Rule number 6. There and here are never subjects. If in any sentence, if you find the sentence is starting with here and there, you'll always look for the subject. And you'll find the subject somewhere in the later part of the sentence. For example, there were 5 books on the shelf. So now there is not the subject. The actual subject is 5 books. And as we can see, 5 books are plural. So we'll always take a plural verb, that is verb. That is were. Same in the second sentence, here is the report you wanted. Again, here is not the subject. The subject is report. So report you wanted, report is singular, so it will take a singular verb, that is. Now, 7th rule. Collective nouns may be singular or plural depending on their use in the sentence. Now, what is a collective noun? A collective noun is a noun used to name a whole group. Something that applies to the whole group. So whenever you have a collective noun, they may be singular or plural. It totally depends on the use in the sentence. The examples of common examples of collective nouns are group, jury, swarm, club, herd, flock, committee, team, audience. These are the examples of collective noun. Rule number 8. Expression of time, money, measurement, and weight are usually singular when the amount is considered one unit. Whenever there is the expression of time, money, measurement, and weight is given, they are usually singular when the amount is considered one unit. For example, $5 is too much to ask because it is $5 here is considered as one unit, not five different dollars. $5 together as one unit. So we are saying $5 is too much to ask. So that is why the verb here is. In the same way, 10 days is not nearly enough time. Again, 10 days is a single unit. On occasions, however, these terms are used in plural sense. For example, there were 30 minutes to count down. So there are 30 minutes which count each one by one. Rule number 9. Rule number 9 says, some nouns, while plural in form, are actually singular in meaning. Some nouns which are plural in form are actually singular in meaning. For example, mathematics, economics, measles, mumps, physics, phonics, news, civics, statistics, social studies, economics, gymnastics, mathematics. So these subjects are usually plural in form, but they are actually singular in meaning. For example, mathematics is an easy subject for some people. So with mathematics, we'll not use are. Right? In the same way, when we say physics is taught by Professor Baldwin, so physics again is not are. So we have to keep this rule in mind that some noun, while plural in form, they're actually singular in meaning, and we have to be very, very careful with the usage of such nouns. Rule number 10. Don't and does not must agree with the subject. Don't and does not must agree with the subject. You always use does not after he, she, and it, whereas with other subjects we use do not. Students, you need to be careful with the usage of does not and do not, because most of the times we make mistake in the usage of does and don't, and that becomes very awkward. In the communication, when you talk to people, if you make such small mistake, it can impact your image badly. So you have to be very, very clear with the usage in the communication, in the oral conversation, or whenever you are doing it in writing. So keep this rule handy with you. Now, based on whatever we have done, there are some questions on the screen which you have to solve. I have given 5 questions for you. With each question statement, there are 2 verbs given in bracket. You have to pick the right verb and fill in the left side blank. You can use all the concepts, all the questions given here are based on the concept taught to you. You can go back to the previous slides to get the concept and then answer it. I hope it is clear to you. Now, if you further want to study, you can use the booklet provided by the department. You can go with the book Communication Arts 1, Essentials of English, or you can use Complete Course in College English. These books will help you to further understand the concept. Thank you so much, students.